Hey everybody, David, stock chart of the day here. So finishing off the week, and we're going to finish off with silver. Why not? We've had a pretty good few weeks here for precious metals. You can see the SLV, which is a silver ETF, which was at 20.50 a share just in late February, is now almost went to 23. So went up roughly 250 a share, and that's pretty good. That's nearly a 12% move. In I think what is the eighth or ninth largest asset in the world. So that's a pretty big move. And I love this kind of chart. Everyone knows me. My favorite charts are these big long bases. The longer the base, the more the space, as they say, and then the breakout out of the base. So if we kind of just, and I also call it the trapped in the box. So we can see here with the SLV that 24 in the SLV, which I think is about 26.50 on silver. That's kind of the resistance level here. And we break that. We probably go quickly back to about 27. That's about $30 on silver, and then really move. But again, we look at this long sideways pattern in silver, and in my opinion, you look what happened on this last kind of similar sideways pattern, 17, 18, 19. Boom. Silver had a huge move. The SLV actually doubled in price from about 13 to 27. You can see there. And of course, if we were to do this kind of similar, we go to 40, which is be the equivalent of, I guess, like, about $40. No, it'd be a little, this is a little lower, 40. Yeah, probably getting close to the highs. That 40 on SLV would probably be close to 45 on silver. And of course, the all-time high is about 50. Double top high, basically, with its 2011 highs and 1980 highs. So you can kind of see that again, when silver kind of came out of this base here, boom, huge move. And then a similar kind of pattern here. And silver always tends to move near the end of these moves. So in precious metals, just kind of like Bitcoin outperforms other risk classes, NASDAQ, tech stocks, S&P, etc. Closer to the end of moves, silver tends to outperform gold and other precious metals and other metals in general near the end of moves. Like if we go back to that top 19 years ago, or 13, 14 years ago, look at this huge move here from 2010 to 2011 in silver. You can see again, 1750 to nearly 50, basically a triple in just under a year. So it was a huge move. And I remember getting quite bearish on silver. I did an interview with my friend Jordan Royburn, who does the Daily Gold, right about this area here. And I said, I think silver is about 35 then. And I was like, look, it looks really frothy to me. It's kind of going parabolic. Now, at that time, I was just kind of thinking, okay, maybe I'll peak at 35.40 and go back to 25, consolidate and go up again. But it went to 50 and then essentially had a nearly 5-year bear market going into 2016, which if any asset class has got to be one of the longest bear markets in the history of markets. And then, kind of had this rally in 2016 and then, like I said, this base and the next move. So we're getting ready for this move here. And if we go look at, again, if we get even a longer term chart of silver, let's go back to the 90s. What you'll see is, so before it began that big move in the 2000s, silver had that similar, again, look at that big sideways kind of basing pattern. Essentially, silver did nothing around $5 an ounce for basically 10 years. And then boom, look at the huge move. Basically, it went up tenfold in about an 8-year span from 2003 to 2011. And that's why sometimes you have to be patient. I know no one wants to wait 10 years, but in 18 years, if you triple your money, that's actually not a bad return. You've made 100% in 18 years and making sorry. You make 200% in 18 years. You're making compounded double digits, which outperforms regular assets. I know no one wants to do that, but there you go. So I would say, again, if you kind of do a similar 10-fold increase, I think the next move in silver, like, in this cycle, especially with the debt situation, I've talked about this at length, really means we're going to see a huge move in that 50. And when you break that 50, you're talking, again, a huge double top from 1980 to 2011. So I think we'll have a huge move. And this is the silver to gold ratio. And you can see it's near, basically when it gets under 0.12, so over 80 to 1. Actually, I'll do gold to silver. It's better because it's easier with the ratio. And yeah, you can see when it gets over 80 to 1, did that in the early 90s when silver was $3, $4. It did that quickly in 2003, when silver had that big move, started, as I showed you, that huge 8-year move. Did it in 2008 during the financial crisis when silver fell quicker. Did it again in 2016 when silver had that kind of the bottom of the bear market. And then, went over to 100 to 1 at that bottom in 2000. And now we're still at 86. We're actually near the all-time lows. We're actually or near the all-time highs. We're early 90s and 2008. And, obviously the 2020, we're in that area here. So it should mean that silver will perform. But again, it tends to be a spiky trade where silver can continue trading cheap compared to gold for a little bit. But then as the market heats up, you'll see silver really begin to outperform. So, I will tell you about a stock. So right before the big move in precious metals, just a week or two ago, I actually recommended, and if you go watch my interview with In It to Win It, I talk about the stock as well. And I talk about how, it's got this long base here. We're going to make this chart a little shorter so you can see it. Whenever the stock gets to $1.50, Endeavour Silver, it tends to bottom, and then the rallies tend to be very spiky. So this rally here was 2 years. This rally here was a year. This rally here was a year, and the whatnot. So you can see that's how it trades. So you don't get them all just like this, but I was essentially buying this at around $1.50. So I missed the low by only a couple cents, and you can see it's at 215. So just in a few weeks, this is already up 40%. And you can see from these moves again in 2016, in 2020, in 2009, 2010, these moves have been, this one was over 10-fold. This one was about 4-fold. This one was about 5-fold. So we got anywhere from 4x to 5x. And obviously, because I think this will be a bigger move in silver, we could definitely go back to the highs of 2011, I think, in Endeavour. But, I think there's nothing wrong with taking profits if it goes to 6 to 8. So you're pretty early on in this move. You might kind of just sit here for a bit and consolidate, but it looks like pretty good to me right here at these levels. So anyhow, so we're going to end it off. Yeah, so silver looks like we're nearing the resistance level. Let's actually get silver because I was looking at the SLV earlier. Yeah, so you can see here, like I've said, that 26 area, which is kind of these little resistance areas. Let's get a shorter term chart. So we can see, yeah, this 26, you can see that's the high in 2023. That's a high last fall. It's a high here in 2022, roughly. So that 26 area represents, the 26 to 2650 represents some resistance. You break that, you can probably go back to the highs of 2020, 2021, which were about 30. And if you break 30, you're probably off to the races. So stock chart of the day, silver. Hope you enjoyed it. Everybody take care.